it's Liz from Feed, and today I'm going to show you one of our favourite store cupboard suppers, which is a red lentil dal. It's a great one to have in your repertoire because when you get towards the end of the week, you're waiting for your veg box delivery, you might only have a few odds and ends of fresh veg left to use, so it's a good time to use up some lentils and spices and things that are in your store cupboards. So I'm also going to make some root veg fritters. So all I've got left are these lovely parsnips and half a Swede, a bit of leek and some garlic. So I'm going to use all of this to make a really delicious, satisfying supper. Okay, so I'd normally dice an onion for the dal, but I don't have any onion left, so I'm going to use this lovely leek. And we'll get that softening in a pan with just a little bit of vegetable oil. And while it's softening, I'm going to add some spices to let them toast before we add any liquid to the pan. About a teaspoon of brown mustard seeds. And about the same of cumin seeds. Let those toast while the leeks soften in the pan. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to get the batter ready for my fritters. So I'm going to make curried root veg fritters to go with the dal. So you need some gram flour, which is chickpea flour, and you want to put about a mug or so into a nice big bowl. Actually, I'm doing about 2 mugs. I've got quite a bit of root veg to put through. And then I'm going to add some whole spices, so some nigella seeds, otherwise known as onion seeds, some ground turmeric, and a few chili flakes. And then plenty of salt and black pepper. Whenever you use turmeric, always use black pepper as well, it just helps you absorb it. And I'm also going to add some fresh curry leaves, which I actually have a curry leaf plant on my kitchen windowsill, and whenever I do a little harvest, I freeze them in a little pot. I'm just going to add a couple of pinches of those, and then add about the same volume of water, so about 1 to 1 if you measure it out. Just use a mug to measure in the gram flour, then use a mug to measure in the water, but I'm just going to eyeball it and just give it a really good whisk to get out all the lumps. And then I'm going to just let that sit to one side while I grate all the vegetables. So it's not dissimilar from making an onion bhaji. So instead of loads of sliced onion, I'm just going to put in the veg that I have left. Okay, so I'm just going to add some slices of garlic to the leeks and the whole spices that are toasting together. And the spices are starting to smell really fragrant now. They're definitely ready to go. So I'm going to add the ground spices now as well and just toast them just for a few seconds. So about a teaspoon of turmeric, a few chili flakes and some ground ginger, again about a teaspoon. And then in with about a mug of lentils. So these red split lentils are really good for dal, I find. And a mug is enough to serve 4. So just move them around in the pan and get them completely coated in the spices. And then normally I would add a tin of chopped tomatoes to make it kind of tangy and summery, but I really feel like some coconut milk today, so I'm going to make a coconut milk dal. So I'm going to put this whole tin of organic coconut milk in, And then I'm going to fill the tin with water and pop that in as well. And I'll just keep the tin there in case it needs more water. I will just let that simmer. I'll season it really well now as well with some salt and lots of black pepper. I'm going to add a few curry leaves to the dal as well. Let them infuse in the coconut milk. So I finished grating the parsnip and I've added it to brown flour batter, and actually that's the kind of perfect texture that we're looking for. So all the grated roots are just coated in the batter. So I'm not going to add the Swede to that. Instead I'm going to cut it into a fairly small dice and I'm going to add it to the dal to simmer in the dal, and that will come out really delicious. You could also roast this with a little bit of oil and salt and pepper and add it to the dal roasted. Swede goes really well in a curry. It's kind of naturally sweet and peppery at the same time. It has a really nice texture when it's simmered and roasted. And then we'll just let that simmer until the Swede is nice and soft and the lentils are really cooked through. Okay, so the Swede is pretty nearly soft now in the dal. So I'm just going to add some rinsed kale. Use up the last bit of kale. While that cooks down, I'll just quickly cook the fritters. Okay, so here's how the coconut, Swede and kale dal is looking at the moment. Just give it a quick taste. Swede is so good with curry spices and coconut. I'm just going to add a little bit of lemon juice for some acidity. Lime juice would be even better, but I had half a lemon hanging around in the fridge. I'm heating up a frying pan with a fairly generous slick of a light vegetable oil. I think that's sunflower oil. So once that's nice and hot, you can just test a bit. Just check the seasoning. Keep the dal moving around. You don't want the lentils to stick to the bottom of the pan. That little piece of parsnip fritter is cooked now, and we can check it for seasoning. That's spot on. So I'm going to go ahead and fry up some fritters to serve with my dal. So I'm doing quite big ones. You can do them as big or as small as you prefer, of course. So just space them out in the pan. I'm just going to do 3 at a time. And you want to make sure they cook all the way through, they're not raw in the middle. Brown flour batter can be a little bit bitter when it's raw, so it's best to start it off on high heat and then turn it down to medium as soon as they go in, so that they cook slowly and all the way through. You don't want them burnt on the outside and raw in the middle. Okay, so once they're nice and golden brown on the bottom, just carefully flip them over and cook them on the other side. So about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. And just to say, you can make endless versions of these fritters. Of course, one of my favourite is curried cauliflower fritters, where it's the exact same spices, or you can mix it up with whatever curry spices or curry powder you like, and just some finely chopped chunks of cauliflower in there. And they make great sandwich fillers or a burger patty alternative as well. You can slice them up and put them in a wrap with some mango chutney and salad. And of course you don't have to do curried spiced ones. You can make any kind of flavour fritters you like. In the summer I love making courgette fritters with Italian herbs. and they are just fantastic as part of a salad. So the fritters are done now. They're perfectly golden brown and they smell gorgeous actually. So I'm just going to serve a couple of scoops of the Swede, kale and coconut dal. And a gorgeous fritter on the side. You could also add rice, mango chutney or some lime pickle, that sort of thing. And it is just a really delicious, comforting bowl of goodness from store cupboard ingredients. I hope you make it. Let me know how it goes. Enjoy.